Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Blast Off with Light. Today we're going to do two things. One, two. Now, I've been rather focused on magic lately, but we do want to make some progress in the tech tree as well. Spider. So, we're going to try to do a little magic and a little tech today. Hey, why is this not a thing? Be a thing. Apparently it forgot it was a thing. It might forget some of the settings, like it forgets my belt quite a lot, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But magically, well, we need a good source of mana. But first, there's something that, if you're accustomed to using NEI, might be a little disconcerting, crafting-wise. So say we wanted to make one of these floating flowers, because we don't want to put the flower on a dirt block, we just want it to be there. And then we go, which one of these flowers do I want? I want a floating hopper hawk. You click, and it shows you nothing. Well, it's because you can't craft these directly, I guess is the right word for it. Because you can make these, you can make floating glimmering flowers. These are essentially little floating lanterns. So you can come in here, can take your dirt, your pasture seed to make it all grassified, and your glimmering flower, and make a floating brown flower. And if you take this and you put it somewhere, it would be better if it were dark, but that's okay. You can just put it somewhere, and you got yourself a floating lantern. It's kind of fun. And you just pick it back up, and you're on your way. Now, if you want to, say, make a floating functional flower, like this hopper hawk, you just take your floating glimmering flower and your functional flower, et voila, you get a floating hopper hawk. Now, these can be placed anywhere. You don't have to put it on dirt or grass or anything, and that's why they're useful. They compress down what you need to build. Why we need it is down over here. You can see I've made some minor modifications in here to be able to shuttle our charcoal, well, our logs into our furnace, and then from the furnace into our charcoal box, and then from our charcoal box down somewhere. This setup is not necessarily the most elegant, but it should get the job done. We've got a hopper coming from the cargo manager into this chest, which is all full of things, into a wooden transport pipe, which will pump things through once we supply it with power, into a diamond transport pipe, which does the sorting, oak wood red into there, and then black into this chest, which we'll need to keep an eye on, because if this chest ever gets full, things will start popping out and being in the world. Not good. So to get that working, we need these redstone engines. They take wooden gears, pistons, glass, and wood. These wooden gears are a little bit weird because you hit a log with a hammer to make a gear. Little strange, but it is a fictitious world. Can only say so much about logic here. So here we've got that, and we also have this right here, wooden going that way. So we place one of them here, and we place one of them there, and it should be more or less ready to go. However, down the other, there's also this little bit of redstone here. I've got a comparator coming out of this chest, coming through an inverter into this hopper. So whenever this is high enough, like this has enough things in it, the power will reach here, turn off this, and turn on the hopper. So it'll keep a bit of a backlog of charcoal in this chest. No matter how much we send through, we'll always have some in here if we need it. Because I don't want to need charcoal and not have it, with such an elaborate way of making charcoal. So that will then come to this hopper and have this pumped out of the hopper when it has things in it. And then it'll follow down all the way through here to a mana farm. We've got, is that 13 endo flames right now. We have room for 81 of them. I think that's as big as this needs to be. I think you can make it larger. I think their range is circular. So if it drops it in the middle, you might be able to go a little further out. But so it goes. I set up the mana spreaders first, such that as I place the flowers, they will bind to the spreader. It's really annoying to have to rebind them later. They all fire into the mana pool with a spark above it, and this is directly underneath our enchanting station. So this will get very full of all sorts of mana and send it through the floor into our enchanting area. And anything else that happens to be relatively nearby. So let's throw the switch, well, the two switches, and see this thing in action. Step one, that switch up there. We'll turn this guy on. And it'll start sending wood down in here, and then over into the furnace. Do it. Perfect! And then anything else will go into this chest, so all of the oak saplings and apples. Now, these redstone engines take a little while to warm up, but once they do, they'll produce energy faster, and that will send things through these pipes more often. So let's turn this guy on as well. Hello? Why can I not? Whoa! Okay, so we're getting serious issues here. Something I did has destroyed my frame rate. So, I will log out, log back in. I will see you in a second. Every now and then, the game just goes a little mad. I just shut down the internal server, I come back, and it's fine. So, now that this is running, we've got a nice string of charcoal coming by, and you can see the rate of input to the system increasing. Now, the problem is, we haven't put up this floating hopper hawk yet, so we should probably race these guys down to the end, because right now, that stuff will come down, drop out of this crate, and then get eaten up by these endo flames. That's a big flow of charcoal. I mean, look at all this charcoal. There's way more charcoal here than endo flames. Eventually, we'll have 81 of them down here, and that will not be the case. But until that happens, we put this guy here. It'll pick up whatever goes on the ground and chuck it back into the crate. Every now and then we can come down and pick up some of the charcoal that is thoroughly overflowing the system. But once this levels out and we get everything balanced for the farm size and everything else, like how fast it can collect the wood, how fast we can... really? I thought this was supposed to redirect into there when there was too much of it. Okay, so we'll figure something else out for that. Alright, and we need to put one of these in there too. And we will need an apple as well. So I'm not a master of buildcraft at all. Because now that's going to split the flow between the two. And it's still going to chuck everything everywhere. So what we're going to do is put this in there to stop the flow into here because it's full. And we'll figure this system out later. So for now, let's turn that off because that is not doing what we want. But this part is. I mean, this is... when it gets charcoal, it sends the charcoal. It's now balanced out such that this is empty and this is at a level where the redstone doesn't turn on. Then we come on down here. And we should see the first charcoal fall out of the crate. down there, gets picked up by one of the endo flames, this guy right here, who then sends it to this spreader, sends it into the mana pool, and gets a little bit of mana. And it'll keep dropping that on there, and then the Hopper Hawk, which is getting some mana, it doesn't really need it, will pick things up and throw it into the crate. Now, the problem is we don't have an item frame on this crate yet. I'll do that in the future, but for now, we need to move on. We'll let this run while we work on some of the tech tree, and then we'll come back and figure out some of this stuff later, because, well, it's quite unfortunate that this didn't do what I wanted it to. I tried a different design in creative and thought, well, maybe this will be small enough to do what I needed to do, and I can manually fix this chest, but it just did not work. So I will redesign this some other time, but for now, ooh, it's dark. Let's sleep. So for now, we'll let that be. You get the general idea of what I want to do. I will tweak some of the parameters and get it to what it needs to be. Now, if we go into our quest book, I want to do a little more Farm and Steve style. I want to make some of these things. So a railer, a height controller, and a hardened drill. Ooh, I think we might be ready for our bone stew too. Jump, 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 jump. Resistance, speed, and weakness. So good for running away. So we did that one. Next up, we've got the height controller. We've seen these PCBs before. It's just iron, gold, and redstone. We've got a compass and some paper. Easy peasy. The railer takes some rail, which we had left over, some iron, and some stone. No problem. Now, for the actual hardened drill. This is a little more complicated. This hardened drill takes a regular drill, some reinforced metal, block of diamond, and hardened mesh. So the regular drill, not a problem. Then we need hardener to make the various hard things. But it's not useful in this raw state. So we bring it on over here, grab ourselves a hammer, and work on it on the anvil. So that felt like about 22 hits. So you can smelt it, or you can hit it 20 times. I'm happy to hit it 20 times to double it. Particularly when you can hit it this fast. And it doesn't turn into something else when you hit it too much. The potatoes, you hit it a certain number of times, it turns into one thing, but then if you hit that, it turns into something else. Between the chips and the fries and whatnot. So that you need to be careful. This, you very much don't. You just hit it. Pop, 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 pop. And we need quite a bit of this stuff. And there's also another way of making this in the pressure chamber, but I don't have one of those just yet. I want to make one of those soon. But it takes double compressed cobblestone, coal, and something else. Or was it this stuff? Oh yeah, it's this stuff. That takes the double compressed cobble, the coal, and hardened clay to make 4 of it. And, I mean, 4 bars of pressure is nothing to sneeze at. So you could make it the other way. I mean, we've got tons of hardened clay. We have a decent amount of coal, but that's a lot of cobble to go into it. I'd rather just harvest the diamonds from the spires. Okay, so we've got the hardener. We mix that with iron bars to make this hardened mesh. And then we mix that hardened mesh with that and these to make some stabilized metal, which we need to cook. And we've got plenty of charcoal. Imagine that. So we drop this in, drop in the charcoal, and it smelts like anything else. We need 3 of these for the drill because this is what the tip is made of. Because apparently it's stronger than diamonds. Weird. Okay, bring it on the number 2. And come on, 3. So I'm not sure if I'm going to necessarily use this drill, but I do want to open up the other quests. I want to see what goes into that Galgadorian metal, because I have a feeling we need it for some of the later tech stuff. Okay, so what we need a block of diamond, we need stabilizing mesh, we need the other type of drill, and we need the 3 pieces of reinforced metal to make ourselves a hardened drill. Whew, that was a lot of work. And we gain, pick 1, cart modifier upgrade, generic engine upgrade, or solar panel upgrade. I believe these are upgrades for this guy. So I'm thinking I'm not going to be really modifying carts much. This you probably give it, well, it might get an upgrade from taking coal, but I think the solar panel really is the way to go. Let's see. I believe I might need to research the solar panel upgrade. Yeah. So we got those things. Let's actually just put them in here, because I'm not going to make this cart right away. I just want to see what it unlocks. Galgador. So we've got fancier things. That looks really cool. Galgador. We need to make 1 enhanced Galgadorian metal, and it'll give us 5 enhanced Galgadorian metals. After slaying tons of mobs, I've decided to experiment combining the mob drops with metal. Voila! I am sure this will be a very useful material. So I have a feeling that'll take ender pearls, bones, and all that. So Galga. Ooh, Eye of Galgador. Okay, so we need to make enhanced Galgadorian metal. So we smelt the big old chunk of it, which we make from little chunks of it, which we make from stabilized metal, emeralds, gold, and eyes. The eyes of ender, which are ender pearls and blaze powder, with gas tears and magma creams and fermented spider eyes. Goodness, that's expensive stuff. But there are spawners for... I know I can set up a magma cube farm. I know we could set up a ghast farm of sorts. I found ghast spawners. Spider spawner, no problem. I haven't found an enderman spawner, but I believe they exist in the roguelike dungeons. So we've got various upgrades. Ore extractor. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is a lump. We need 4 lumps to make 1 ingot. Yikes. And then we need... Jeez. That is going to be 1 expensive drill. Certainly hope it's worth it. So let's take our wand down here and see what kind of progress we've made. Look at that! Look at all that mana. That's pretty awesome. So that is still where it is. This is probably empty. So we can just manually take a stack of this stuff and throw it in. Eventually, I'll figure out how to make this do exactly what I want. It'll need some sort of overflow or recycling program or something to make it do what needs to happen without it spitting everything all over the place. But we'll do that for the future. In the meantime, let's enchant some more books. We've got 72 levels from killing. There was a ultra skeleton that spawned here, and yeah, it took him a while to die, but he gave me a lot of XP in the process. So what we want badly is Fortune 3. Sharpness and lure. Not what I was looking for. Let's try that again. Fortune 3. Cold Touch 2. Very much not what I was looking for in either case. So those go in the rubbish book pile. Cold Touch slows things down. Lure, I don't need to catch fish faster. And Sharpness 3 is not all that great. Yeah, I can probably do better. So I will kill more things, get more levels, and keep making my books. Because I have a plan for the books. I've got a plan for all sorts of things. Yeah. So particularly the magma cube spawner there, the gas spawner over that way, the blaze spawner slightly to the left. There's a rocket creeper spawner down that way. All sorts of things all over the place that can do very useful things for us. Next up in the quest book, though, Gal Gadot can wait. Lava. Interesting. So apparently, we could make a cart that collects the lava for us. That's pretty sweet. Because there's tons of lava down the bottom, I think. Security system, kind of meh. Crops, kind of meh. I do want to do the pressurized stuff because we need a pressure chamber. We need compressed iron for pretty much everything. Because the moment we try to do anything with the infuser... Infuser... Oh, look at that. We need enhanced Gal Gadot metal to make the metallurgic infuser. Oh, and 2 crucible furnaces, which we happen to have. That's nice. PCBs, so yeah. That is a little on the crazy side. And then there's everything underneath of that. So that might be a little ways in the future. Yeah. The Flaxbeard stuff, it's too unstable. I can't trust it. It destroys worlds. I should finish this up. I can almost definitely kill some Endermen. I haven't done any yet, but if I find any down in the dungeons, that'll be great. The flowers, I'll eventually make them, but there's no hurry on those. Ooh, floating thermal lilies. The seasons, I know there's something that uses the Rune of Winter that I want to make. I don't know about the Rune of Autumn. So let's do a quick check on that, and then we'll call it an episode. So the Rune of Autumn is easy to make, and is used to make the Rod of the Terra Firma. So if we wanted something that makes nice flat land, and we had a Terra Steel ingot, we could make that. The Tiger's Eye might not be a bad idea. I mean, it keeps creepers away. So I hope it works on those festive creepers that throw TNT everywhere. The Hyaccitus, that's not bad. It poisons things, I think. It could be okay. Runes of Sloth. And that's it. So what are the Runes of Sloth used for? The Orchid! I see what you did there. Yep, the punniest of the punny, but requires pixie dust. The Lunium, I'm not even sure what that one does. And Vinculotus. Fairly certain that one grabs Enderman and brings it to the flower. So, yeah, let's look up the Lunium in the book, and then we'll call it a day. I know I keep saying we'll call it a day, but, oh, right. I don't have that knowledge yet, do I? So I won't be looking it up in the book. I'll just have to check later. Because anything that requires the portal to Elfheim, well, unfortunately won't be in our book until we build that. But now that we've got a fairly decent mana farm set up, that will be much closer in our future than, much of anything else. So I will see you in the next episode of Blast Off with Light.